In this video, I'm going to fully explain one of the most important aspects of freestyle snowboarding, the landings, and the techniques that pro snowboarders use in order to ensure that their landings are consistent, safe, and ridiculously effective, and the different tweaks you need to make for different features and different tricks. And by the end of this video, you won't only understand why these body mechanics are so useful, but also how to implement them into your own riding. Every landing is based around the same stacked position, and we want to be shifting it and adjusting it depending on what the feature wants. So here, I'm doing a pretty perfect jump so both feet are landing at the same time. But what's important isn't the fact that my board's hitting at the same time, it's my upper and lower body angle. Notice how in this jump, my upper body is pulled forward and my hips are pulled back. This is making it so my weight is completely centered, but because of the staggering in the upper and lower body, I have the ability to move my legs independently to my upper body. I don't need to in this instance because I got a good enough pop that I can land with both feet at the same time. So all I need to do is extend my legs, catch the landing, and this is a really important part whenever landing on your snowboard. You always want to be meeting the landing. You don't want to be falling into the snow. Instead, you want to be extending into it, because not only does this increase the range of motion you'll have in your legs to absorb the impact, but also it eats up a little bit of that impact as you go and put your legs into it. A rule for this is we never want to be fully extending your legs. Notice how there's a little bit of bend in both of my knees. If you fully extend your legs, you're going to be locked out and it's going to put a lot of impact into your joints. So we want a little bit of bend that we can comfortably go and squat down into. When we're landing, we want to land with a little bit of weight set over the balls of our feet. We do this by having our hips kicked out and our upper body pulled slightly forward. So when we squat down, our weight stays set over the same point. You can see that it's almost completely flat based, but it's enough edge pressure that I don't need to worry about wishy-washing on any weird snow. And edge pressure is going to be extremely important for some other landings, especially once we start talking about rotations. Here, I drastically overshoot the jump. This makes it so I have to readjust my positioning, and I want you to pay attention. My hips go back, my upper body goes forward, and watch how I'm able to move my legs independently, and as I'm shifting my legs, my upper body's still maintaining this little hinge. This hinge is so ridiculously crucial when coming into the landing. So now as I'm adjusting, trying to rebalance, I'm heading to the flat part of the landing. So I can't land with my board on that nice consistent angle. Instead, I'm going to need to tilt my hips in order to change the angle of my snowboard. And that's the power of this position. Because I have this stagger in my upper and lower body, I can move my legs independently. So here, I'm pushing my back leg down, letting my front leg coming up, and you're gonna see that I'm coming in tail heavy. Tail heavy is basically the safety net of jumping because it lets us go and disperse our impact a little bit more and catch ourselves. We'll go and have some more examples for this, but you can see a very tall extended body, slightly set over the tail, and legs almost completely extended, but not fully. This position is actually perfect, and while I'm doing it, I'm maintaining a slight hinge. And now, as I absorb the impact, I let myself disperse into a more exaggerated version of that position. Hips back, upper body forward, weight still set over the balls of the feet. Because we're pushing the hips back, it's going to want to shift you to the heels. So we need to really pull that upper body forward in order to stay balanced. And the reason why we can get away with landing like this is even though my hips are positioned so my weight's over my back foot, because my upper body's pulled forward, when we combine that with impact, it's naturally going to pull my body into the landing direction of the slope. This is the technique used by every pro snowboarder, including someone as legendary as Arthur Longo. Pops up, keeps that angle, lands tail heavy, pushes through. So as he leaves the takeoff, upper body slightly forward, hips slightly back, and as he goes and jumps and bends his legs up, his upper body keeps pulling forward and his hips keep shifting back. And as he comes into the landing, he now fully extends into his position, and look at how aggressive this tail angle is, giving him so much room to absorb it. But he's not going and leaning his whole body towards that tail. Instead, that upper body's rotated open, shifting towards that front foot, hinge of the upper body keeping the weight over the balls of his feet. So as he comes and tries to disperse the energy, tail first to the front leg, and as he absorbs it, he gets pushed back more into that position, but he doesn't slip out because his upper body keeps pulling forward in correlation to the hips being set back, allowing him to go and absorb a lot of impact. Red Gerard uses this every time he's finishing a back 18 back triple. He's coming in and landing with that tail first. When you're doing a spin, it lets you go and catch your momentum. So say he's over rotating, he's literally digging in the tail of his snowboard to catch the snow and pull him into the ground. I've even heard that Red Gerard rides an extra stiff board and a little bit of a longer board so he can do this better. But as he's doing it, chest slightly open, upper body pulled forward, hip set back. So as he goes and crouches down into it, that position gets exaggerated, letting him go in a straight up and down axis while also catching himself. This is the technique that all pro snowboarders base their landings around because it increases the room of error and it opens up the ability to catch the landing. And catching the landing so crucial. We don't want to be falling into it. Instead, we want to be meeting it, absorbing it, and the more range of motion we have to do that, the better. But the strongest part of this position is how flexible it is, how much you can adjust it depending on what the feature or trick needs. Here, he's pushing through, not landing tail heavy, instead landing both feet at the same time. But we can see upper body still pulled forward, hip slightly shifted back, but because this is a small feature, instead of trying to absorb the landing, he's using his body to go and push through it, maintaining speed. He has the ability to land tail heavy, but when everything's lining up perfect, you're also able to readjust it because the whole angle in the tail of your snowboard isn't decided by how you're going and shifting your weight in the air. Instead, it's about how you're angling your hips. So right here, he has the decision. I can either keep my hips shifted back, keeping my nose up, upper body pulled forward, or I can just tilt my nose a little bit down, getting into that landing. And when you're on short sniper landings, you don't really have time to land tail, disperse it. Instead, you want to be meeting it and pushing through it. Now let's break down how this is used on spins because it varies. On any blind landing tricks like this frontside 720, I want to make sure that I'm landing with my weight super exaggerated over my toe edge. Because if I go and under rotate, like in this situation, if my weight was set flat base or over my heels, I'd heel catch. But because I'm under rotating, but with my weight set up and over my toes, it makes it so I don't edge catch. I'm able to go and diminish my rotational force throughout that landing. And that's sort of what the tail heavy landing's used for. When you're unsure if you're going to get the perfect rotation, perfect angle, it acts as a safety net. So here I'm combining extra lean forward because I'm like, oh, I'm coming in blind. I want to make sure to not catch my heels. And I'm letting myself land a little tail heavy because I'm not getting a full rotation. So if I felt like I had time, I'd pull my hips back into the landing. Here you can see both feet are landing at the same time. So the reason we want to be shifted over our back foot is because it greatly increases our room for air. Here I get a little nose heavy. Because I go a little bit bigger than expected and I'm not landing at the point, my upper body was a little too pulled over for how big I'm going, and that's shifting me more and more towards the nose of my snowboard. And we can see with the nose down, there's a very small spectrum of acceptability towards the nose of our snowboard. That's why I'm needing to flail and rebalance, because if you land nose heavy, there's a high chance you're gonna biff it. So we're always aiming to land both feet at the same time, but we're always aiming to make sure that we don't land nose heavy. And you can see hip slightly shifted forward, upper body slightly shifted forward. I go and absorb it and make do, but this was a risky situation. On this frontside 360, I'm coming up a little short. So because I don't have time to fully rotate, I go and counter rotate, make sure my weight's set over the balls of my feet, hips are slightly shifted back, upper body pulled forward, tail heavy coming into the landing, and this makes it so I can touch with my tail, stop the rotation, absorb the knuckle if I need to, and sort of increase the duration and time of my landing. So here, I'm actively using the tail of my snowboard to slowly disperse, sort of like a tail press coming in, so that way I actually get more into the landing before I actually make impact. When we under rotate a trick with our front coming into the landing, we want to make sure to land a little bit heel heavy, because if you land toe heavy in this situation, like say I landed completely over my toes here, I'd dig in and I'd get bucked. So I'm actually making sure to under rotate slightly, dig in my heels to absorb that little bit of rotational energy coming into the landing. Because even with this impact, notice how my board wants to keep spinning throughout that landing and it keeps shifting. So ideally, we're rotating these tricks early enough so that way we can use counter rotation to slow down. But when you need to go and speed up the rotation throughout the full duration, we're gonna need to under rotate slightly. Because if I landed with my board completely rotated here, that little bit of slip out would have caused me to slip towards my toe edge, and that'd make it so I didn't land the trick. So here, I'm purposely under rotating and jamming my heels in to kill that rotational energy. And the really cool thing about these landing mechanics is they're basically exactly the same as proper jumping mechanics. The only difference is instead of loading up to explode and generate power, using the same principles to go and slow down, elongate your motions, and absorb that energy. It's also exactly how you want to be landing in powder. Here, if it was deeper snow, I'd just have my hips slightly more tilted up, upper body more pulled forward, and that way I could land tail heavy. Because it's not very deep, I can go and use my hip shift to go and pull my board down and only land a little bit tail heavy. The only thing that really stops this technique from working is over elongation. If we lose that hinge in our hips, we're going to go and slip out towards our heels. Here, it's happening for a few reasons. Because I'm coming in and my momentum wants me to take me this way, but my chest and everything's rotated this way, it's making it so I'm slightly set too far towards my heels. And because of this, I'm also really elongating, and you can actually see that my weight is set back towards my heel edge. So as I go and try to absorb that impact and pull my upper body forward, it's not pulling enough over my toe edge, resulting in me slipping towards my heel edge. The important takeaway for this video is freestyle snowboarding is all about upper and lower body staggering. When we stagger our upper and lower body, it increases our ability to move our legs independently, allowing us to shift. We combine that with maintaining a slight hinge in our upper body, weight slightly set over the balls of our feet, and making sure to never expand out of this position. And when you do that, you'll be able to land pretty much in any terrain, in any way, and you'll really start being able to charge the mountain with confidence like a pro.